Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. So we have a new NBA champion. The Milwaukee Bucks are the 2021 NBA champions. Congratulations to Deer District and all of their fans. Um, to be honest with you, I've been talking a lot about how Giannis is a complimentary megastar. I didn't shake from that stance. Um, but tonight, that was not what was going on down there. This dude took over the game in spectacular fashion, walked out of there with 5 blocks, 50 points, bunch of rebounds. What you saw there was a superstar willing his team to a championship victory. Um, and that was really it. I mean, you could talk about the Phoenix Suns. They did some things that you may want to point out, just looking at the X's and O's of a game. But when a championship is won, it ain't really about the game no more. It's about celebrating the win for the champions and just the fans getting a chance to really appreciate it. So that's my mindset. I looked at that game and to be honest with you, not really much really stood out from that second half. I made a video about the first half and the things that were going on, but in the second half, it was just a whole lot of Giannis, whole lot of Bobby Portis. Devin Booker couldn't really get it going. Chris Paul was able to get into the mid-range a little bit here and there, but he wasn't aggressive enough. They kind of got away from campaign. I saw they had a Frank Kaminsky sighting. He really stepped up and played well. Finally got a chance to really see what he could do in a Phoenix uniform for these playoffs. So he stepped in and gave him some good minutes. But, I mean, we saw good things from Cam Johnson. Everybody was okay, but to be honest with you, they just got overpowered, man. They kept it close all game long. It wasn't like they didn't have a close game going. They were only down by like 6 with like a minute left or something. It was close, but they just could not deal with Giannis Antetokounmpo. My idea about him going to the line, doing the hack Antetokounmpo, that would have failed miserably because that dude hit he only missed like 2 free throws. He hit like probably 14 of them or something ridiculous like that. He was absolutely phenomenal from the line, phenomenal from everywhere but from the 3-point shot. He would have came out of there with even more points if he wouldn't have taken some of those bad threes that he took in that first half. Milwaukee tightened up on their possessions. They played fantastic defense, and they just carried it home. I mean, Middleton didn't really have it like in this game because of the foul trouble in the first half, and then Giannis just took over in such a way they didn't really need a whole lot. Bobby Portis definitely needs a lot of credit for how well he played. I think Middleton's presence was felt mostly on the defensive end against Devin Booker. I thought he played fantastic defense. And I thought Booker played some good defense against him as well down the stretch. So what you saw was just a real gritty defensive game, if not for Giannis just being spectacular all over the floor. And going into this series, I said if Giannis isn't out there, I thought Phoenix would win. But if they got a full-fledged dose of Giannis, I thought the series would probably go Milwaukee's way because they just don't have an answer for him. And ultimately, we saw that come to a head tonight. As I said, you saw a megastar, 2-time MVP play his best basketball when you needed it the most. It was the 6th most points ever scored in the NBA Finals game, if I'm not mistaken. Historic, legendary performance by a legendary talent. And, I'm not going to waver from what I said about Giannis. If you go back and listen to my videos about Giannis, I honestly still feel the same way. But he won 2 MVPs for a reason. He's able to do this consistently. This is not the best game he's ever played, despite the numbers being absolutely historic, because he's capable of doing even better. And, you cannot put a price on this type of athleticism and this type of motor. The dude has a motor that's unbelievable, a will that's unbelievable. And quite frankly, he earned this championship this year. I remember getting on his case. I didn't like the mentality that he was displaying against KD in the first series. Or the second series, rather. I didn't like it. He was giving KD credit, saying he was the best player in the world or whatever he said. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he was giving KD credit. I felt like they were in a position where KD could knock him off. And he's out here, I felt like he was tucking his tail between his legs. But I'll tell you the truth. Though I stand on what I said, I did not like him doing that. A part of me looked at that and said, you're rewarded for that. I believe in karma. I believe in good energy coming back to you. I believe in humility. I believe in respect. I believe in humility even in the face of scrutiny. And I found myself being the one that was scrutinizing the person who was being humble. So I had to humble myself in regards to seeing that after making that video that night. But even so, my point of view was not that I didn't appreciate him being humble. It was that I felt he was giving the mental edge to a player who otherwise is looking to take his head. And I just felt like that was the most weak display you could show a killer when you're facing his barrel, is appreciation. But what you're doing overall is conceding that whether we win or lose, I know that this player has a certain level of respect that he's earned based on his accolades and his talent. And even though I've won MVPs, even though I'm considered this guy, and even though I'm going to go on to win this championship this year, I'm going to give KD his flowers, and I'm not going to let anybody else see me as anything less than somebody who's willing to do that. And I felt like that's the type of thing the universe will reward you for. That's the type of display that people will remember you for. It's the type of thing that KD could say, that's somebody who stood solid. He didn't front on my name. One of my competitors I could respect. And I'm willing to bet KD does respect him on a different level than probably he respects some of his other opponents because of that type of display. It was something that I didn't appreciate, but I've grown to understand was the right way for him to show himself and be himself. And that's what leadership is about. Not acquiescing to what people think is right or wrong. Doing what's in your control to lead your team or lead in your role, and doing what you know is right. And Giannis has displayed that in many different ways. Staying with the Milwaukee Bucks, I didn't think that was right. I was of the belief he couldn't win no championship there. I thought it was a bad decision. Wrong again. Giannis stayed with the team that drafted him, the team that developed him, the team that believed in him. He watched his brother win a championship last year with the big time team, knowing good and well that the reason why his brother was here was because they were trying to groom him to come here himself. But he stayed with the team that believed in him, stayed with the team that paid him, stayed with his family in Milwaukee because he had made a promise to them that he wasn't trying to break. And you got to give him credit. You simply have to give the character of the man credit. Whether you think he's the greatest basketball player or not, you understand that this is somebody who earned that championship on and off the court this evening. And it was the right thing for him to win it, in my opinion. It was the right thing to see him as victorious at the end of this season. Especially since I had been, personally on my end, it really been hard on the dude. You know, I have been. And it's because of stuff that I see on the floor that frustrates the heck out of me. And no, I don't think they win the championship if they run into, say, a healthy Laker team or a healthy Nets team. I don't know that they even win this series if the Phoenix Suns kept a full roster and had Dario Saric in rotation. I don't know that. But one thing I do know is that certain things fell into place so that the Milwaukee Bucks could be in a position to capitalize on this game tonight. And Giannis had that opportunity fall in his lap, and he seized it. He seized that opportunity. He looked it dead in the eye and said, I'm going to play my best game when it matters most. And he did it on both ends of the floor. And he did it from the line in the playoffs where he was historically known for choking at the line because of the 13 count and all that. He stood there and absorbed that on the road, sometimes even at home. He sat there and took that from fans. And at the end, just as the universe provides, he was able to make damn near every free throw in the game that mattered most. I'm telling you, man, this stuff is divine. I look at stuff this way because it's like you have to be humbled by a certain level of display of humility. You have to be humbled by that because so many people show arrogance. So many people show a fake strength that is really backed by insecurity and ego and ignorance. But rarely do you see somebody with an immense amount of talent show an immense amount of humility before earning what it is that they're ultimately going to earn. And that's what I've taken away from this entire playoffs in regards to Giannis. Stand-up person. Never mind what you think of his basketball, even though he's displayed his greatness this evening. You got to understand and respect that this is somebody who stayed loyal, somebody who stayed humble, and somebody who put his entire heart out there on that basketball floor. Played hard, and his emphasis on his team playing hard, because every time you hear Giannis talk, he's always talking about he wants his guys to play hard. His emphasis on that was contagious, and you could see it in how his team played tonight. Congratulations to other players on this team. I have to mention PJ Tucker. It was great to see him get a victory tonight, a championship victory against his old team. I was very happy to see that. A guy that I appreciate a lot, Brook Lopez, who played for the Lakers for a season. I was happy to see him get a championship this evening. Drew Holiday, one of my favorite players in the league, was able to display why I believe he has an opportunity to earn his way into the Hall of Fame someday, starting right here and now. I think that he has yet to do that, but I think the foundation for a possibility has just been laying with this first championship. And if he can continue to earn all-star teams, continue to make all defensive teams, continue to be a part of these type of situations, winning situations, I firmly believe that you're going to be seeing Drew Holiday in the Hall of Fame someday. I stand by that. I really believe that. I think he's going to make his way there. I don't think he's earned his way there yet, but I think the possibility of him earning his way there from this point is strong. And a guy like Chris Middleton, I definitely think the same thing. I think for him it's even more so obvious because of how just effortless this man was able to display his talent in these finals particularly. And look, all things considered, I think Milwaukee found something that works for them going forward. As long as they continue to run things through Middleton and not ask Giannis to start at the top of the key, I really believe that. Even now, after the game he had tonight, we still saw fragments of what it is that I'm telling you, and it cost them possessions. As long as you continue to keep Middleton as the focal point of what you're doing in terms of scoring the ball, you will find yourself winning games after tonight going forward with the same roster. I think they should run it back with the same roster. I don't see any reason to do anything different. I think Milwaukee has a full-fledged team. I do think they're going to have issues next year guarding the Nets, but I also wonder if the Nets are going to come back healthy. I wonder what's going to happen with Kyrie Irving. I'm not so sure the Milwaukee Bucks won't be the best team in the Eastern Conference next year, depending on what happens with the Nets. So, I think what we saw in these playoffs was the Bucks grow. They were a better team now. They are a better team now after winning this championship than they were going into these playoffs, because they figured out some things that work for them, and that's going to be fantastic seeing how they lead into next season. I really believe that. I think they have a chance to be even better next year. So, yeah, man, I want to continue to give props to the champs, man. Guys like Brent Forbes got a championship, I said this. I said, look, if Pat Connaughton continues to rebound the ball the way that he is, they're going to win a championship. And he did just that. Big offensive rebounds, big shots. And this dude was definitely somebody that I won't forget in terms of how he made his name in these finals. He really put his stamp on these playoffs, and you won't soon forget it. This is somebody who could very easily be in Major League Baseball. He's a double sport athlete, and he has a championship in basketball. How about that, man? Congratulations to Pat Connaughton, man. That's some real deal stuff right there. So yeah, man, look at that. Look at that Milwaukee Bucks team. Congratulations to Jeff Teague. Been in the league for a million years. Got him a ring now with the Milwaukee Bucks. You just never know, That's why you just got to keep sticking with it. Keep sticking with it. Guys are journeymen, find himself on different teams. I'm sure he didn't come into this Milwaukee situation thinking he was going to be a champ. But here we are. Here we are. Congratulations to Jeff Teague. And, man, Budenholzer, man, that's another guy who I think grew in these playoffs and in these finals. Does his team Is his team known for playing the smartest style of basketball? No. No. Did they figure that stuff out in these playoffs? Absolutely. Yes, they did. By the end of these playoffs, them winning the championship, I firmly believe that they play smart basketball. Unorthodox, they throw monkey wrenches at you purposefully, and it is a strategy that works. Budenholzer, there's rhyme, there's reason to everything he does. There's rhyme and reason to everything that he does. And even though, yes, at times it does drive you crazy in the season, regular season, from game to game, when it comes down to the playoffs, he is one of the toughest guys to scheme against in the playoffs. Know this now, going forward. We've learned in these playoffs. Ty Lue and Mike Budenholzer are tough guys to scheme against. And that's what we saw. We simply saw that. Unfortunately for Ty Lue, he didn't have a full spectrum of players. So we didn't see him in these finals. I think if Kawhi would have been out there, I think Phoenix may have had a chance. I may have been sitting home a little early. It might have been the Clippers in these finals. But ultimately, what you saw was just Budenholzer just picking the Phoenix Suns apart. I mean, it wasn't deeper than that. You know, I think Monty Williams, though he's been a good coach, he's done some good things. I don't think he really shined in these finals. I really don't. I think he took a step back in these finals. But ultimately, he got his team this far, and you got to congratulate him on getting to the finals. And they're a young team. You know, they have a young team, even though they have an old CP3. They have a young team with a real solid core. Ayton's going to be a monster going forward. Now he has finals experience. Booker, same thing. These guys aren't just guys that are used to playing on bad teams. Now they're guys that have tasted victory. You know, Cam Johnson, Cam Payne, Mikal Bridges. Bring all those guys back. Don't even think about letting any of those guys go. Keep that core intact. As long as you can keep those cluster of 6, 7 players together, I think the Phoenix Suns will be a perennial playoff team every year. And as they continue to play with one another, they may not get to the finals every year, but they're going to be a beast amongst the best 6 teams in the Western Conference. And if you're amongst the best 6 teams in the Western Conference, that means you have a chance to get to the finals. It's that simple. You know, the West is going to be jam-packed no matter what. If you're amongst that 6, you're happy. And I think Phoenix will be there. But they have to take care of their power forward position, and they do have to make a decision on Chris Paul. After what we just saw in these finals, do you get to the finals without Chris Paul? No. Could you win the championship with Chris Paul? No. Did you look better out there at times with Cam Payne running? Yes. Is that a recipe for saving cap space when you consider that Cam Payne could actually be your starting point guard going forward? Yes. Problem is, can Cam Payne get you anywhere near to the finals without CP3? Hell no. So you have to make a decision on CP3, and you got to live with the results of that. You don't want Devin Booker to be unhappy. So my suggestion would be pay CP3. Pay him. Pay him. Every team that he's been on for the last 3 years has gotten further than they're supposed to go, including you that just got to the 6th game of the NBA Finals. Does he have some limitations? Yes. Hedge against those limitations. Make sure that you keep Cam Payne healthy and ready to go. That's the most important thing. You hedge everything with Cam Payne. If Chris Paul doesn't have it next year, you got a full-fledged starting point guard right there. Bring him back. Pay him what he's owed. Absorb that as best you can. Worst case scenario, you have Booker happy because he has CP3, Ayton happy because he has CP3, and both of them on your books because they're going to re-sign. Is that enough? I don't know. But what you cannot do is let CP3 run out the door and then leave yourself with Ayton and Booker to look at each other saying, how the hell are we going to get back to the finals? We're not. And then want to leave your place. You're not going to want that. Take your chances. Keep CP3. So that's what I got to say, man. That's what I took from that, man. I am sorry CP3 did not win a championship this go round, even though I'm very happy ultimately to see the Bucks make a fool out of me and turn this into a fantastic series. But it's rough, you know. A guy like Chris Paul, you just wish that he, felt a little more confident down there. I just felt like his confidence was a little swayed. I felt like his what's the word? His emotions kind of got the best of him. I phrased it a certain way in the previous video, But it really was, you live and die with his nerves. That's what I said. You live and die with his nerves. Sometimes his nerves get the best of him and will hurt the team. And, sometimes it's injuries. Sometimes it's fumbling the ball, turn it over, doing stuff like that, missed free throws. It's always something with CP3, unfortunately. But you understand that you can't get as far without him. You know that. Every team he leaves is a lot worse because of it. Every team he goes to is a lot better with him. So you live and die with the results. And if the results are Game 6 of the NBA Finals, I think you feel pretty good about that. But it's unfortunate because he should have been able to get over the hump. As well as I've seen him play just as recently as 2 weeks ago. And I know he has the wrist issue. He's going to probably have to have surgery on that. We'll see how that goes. But I don't allow that to be an excuse. He was good enough to play out there. He had good games out there with that wrist. So he just wasn't aggressive enough. Father Time looked like it was getting to him. Give credit to the Milwaukee defense. Guys like Drew Holiday, Middleton, Connaughton, they made life very hard on him. They're younger than him and in better shape than him, heavier than him, all that. Just did not work in his favor. And if you couple that with the fact that he had to work just as hard on the other end because he was going up against Drew Holiday, yeah, tall task. And not only that, but the Milwaukee Bucks are just a bigger team. At the end of the day, they're a bigger team. The Phoenix Suns had like one center down there, basically, and then they were trying to fill in for the rest, using small forwards as power forwards pretty much the whole season. So that's going to be something they're going to have to adjust. They're going to have to address. What's up with the power forward position? Obviously, if you've been following me for the last 24 hours, you know how I feel about Jalen Smith sitting on the back of their bench. I don't know what his status is, but I was very confused to see that he's actually healthy and him being 6'10", and them having size issues. I felt like it would have made a lot of sense to play him. But they did run out there with Frank Kaminsky, and he had a very good game. So I guess after all, you can kind of just live without it. I guess. I don't know. But if you go back and look at my video, you know exactly how I feel about the Phoenix Suns and how they handled Jalen Smith this year. You just gotta play him. At the end of the day, you gotta play him. So now we move on. Phoenix Suns offseason is going to be about Chris Paul. Do you bring him back? Milwaukee's offseason is going to be about enjoying the fact that they just won the championship. Milwaukee, and I've made many videos about this as well. They're a team who had a vision for what they wanted their team to be. And they set out on this journey about maybe 10, 11 years ago when they drafted a young kid out of Greece. And they hid him in the background. They put him with the right people to assure that they got the most out of this kid, and they built him along slowly. They didn't really start playing him till the year 3, year 4, pretty much. And they brought him along ever so slowly. I'm talking about a slow burner. Each and every year he gets a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. Adds this, adds that, adds this, adds that, until he's a 2-time MVP. And they make little moves here and there, trying to see what fits with him, trying to figure out what works, and they get bounced out of the second round, bounced out of the first round, run into teams that they probably should beat, but just can't get over the hump because of certain limitations of the player. But then they bring him Drew Holiday. They get him to resign some miraculous way, get him everything he asked for, get him a coach that can, kind of work with him and get the most out of him. And look at him. Look at him now. NBA champions. The Milwaukee Bucks are the quintessential blueprint for how you want to handle being a small market team. They are the pinnacle. You find something special, you groom it properly, you work with him, you love him, you take care of him, you do the right thing by the man. You make sure that you do what you have to do to make sure he's happy. Bring his brother in. Make sure that he has a spot on the team. All the stuff that you got to do to make somebody feel warm and happy. You bring him in. You do right by him. You surround him with the pieces that he needs. You work with him. You don't give up on him. Look where you at. Look where you at. You know what I mean? It's possible. It is possible. It doesn't always have to go the New Orleans route. They don't always have to go the Dame Lillard route. Sometimes front offices can just do the right thing. Build slowly, build properly, Don't try to win it with super teams. Don't try to put together quick championships. New Brooklyn, it didn't work. Look where Brooklyn is right now, despite doing all that cheating they tried to do to put these guys together. Yeah, it's cheating. Sorry. Did Milwaukee have a path to a championship at the start of the season? Of course not. But where are they? They're holding the trophy right now. Why? Because sometimes, if you do things the right way, the environment will just acquiesce to you. Sometimes things just fall into place because you did things the right way. Don't always work that way, but I can guarantee you, if you position yourself to do things the right way, when a blessing is available to drop, you will be in position to catch. And that is what we saw with the Milwaukee Bucks. Congratulations to their fans. Dear District, stand up. You gave Toronto a run for their money as far as I could tell. Y'all might have been the craziest fans I've seen. And y'all deserve this championship, man. Thank you guys for watching. My name is BDL44, and I'm out.